Well, for those of you who are joining us today for today's TAASP webinar, we are a corporate partner with TAASP. Our company is Get More Math, and we want to welcome you. Today's focus topic is STAAR data planning for 23-24. We know probably just last week and probably planning ahead for next week, many campuses are planning for the elementary reading and math and upper level, secondary levels, end of course assessments right about this time of the school year. So Get More Math has so many features we want to share with you. We also have a free school license opportunity that you're going to hear more about further down in the webinar. But first, I'd like to introduce our team. My name is Lakeisha Malvo. I am the Texas account manager for ESC regions 1-8, as well as 18 and 19. And I have on the webinar with us is our other Texas account manager, Elizabeth Hilly. Elizabeth is covering regions 9-17 and region 20. And something we have in common, we're both former Texas educators who have taught with Texas TEKS, so we know exactly what's expected when it comes to STAAR and what our students definitely need in the state. I also want to remind you and invite you, if you have any questions at any time, we're going to have a Q&A at the end of the webinar, but feel free to please chat. You should have a Zoom button on your screen where you can click and type in any questions, comments, or feedback. So please do that as you like, or feel free to wait until our Q&A at the conclusion of the webinar. Today's agenda, firstly, I'm going to share some features with you about Get More Math and what makes us a unique and resourceful ideal product that can support your campus. Secondly, I'm going to give you some information from TEA, most recent information regarding STAAR and of course results and relevant information that also relates to the reporting result that we know will be coming in this summer. And then I'd also like to share with you some impending Get More Math new data reports that our team is doing a great job of constructing and will soon be released to the public as well. And then we will conclude our webinar with that offer for a free campus pilot that is a free site license. And also we'll have a Q&A session as well. All right, so firstly, Get More Math. Here's what we're about. When you talk to your colleagues or maybe just you yourself, you might sometimes wonder, I've taught a great lesson today, or they've taught a great lesson. Students seem engaged, seem excited, seem like a lot was accomplished in that lesson, feel successful. The reality hits out. When it's time for students to actually apply that skill, have to show what they've learned from that lesson that you thought went all so well, the reality hits. They actually didn't retain or remember anything. That frustrates the educator, that frustrates the students. They just can't remember those skills. So Get More Math was actually built and designed by a 20-year educator. His name is Josh Burton. Josh taught algebra for several years, but he had the same issue that so many of us as educators have had. Teach your heart out, but it's still hard for students to retain. So Josh created Get More Math to share with the public and make sure that students are successful. So the first thing I do want to share is that Get More Math is not an instructional component, but we are an ideal TEKS-aligned supplemental resource to go with your curriculum or the scope and sequence for your campus and district. With Get More Math, you're going to see in just a moment how teachers can craft and design assignments that meet their students' needs for the classroom. Again, as I mentioned, it does pair with any curriculum that you might be using or have in place. We are TEKS and STAAR aligned for here in Texas for grades 3-11. And when I say 3-11, that means it does go all the way up through Algebra 1, Algebra 2, and Geometry courses. We do have a unique feature that sets us apart from any other programs out there. And I know there's many out there, but with Get More Math, we have an automated mixed review that differentiates for your students' needs to push them to that mastery level. And while in mixed review, we make sure that our features allow your students to have individualized content. We want to make sure that we're meeting their needs based on data and based on what you know your students need. So all in all, our motto, and we believe in this, is we want to break the forgetting cycle, and we have all the features to do that. So firstly, I want to go back and share with you probably what you've experienced as an educator at some point in your career. You actually, or your teachers perhaps, have actually just taught a typical lesson, probably mostly teacher-led, a lot of that explicit I do portion of the lesson. The curriculum is going to pace forward. You're going to hope and pray probably that your students are understanding what's being taught. And then give your students maybe a few minutes of independent practice, maybe a few problems just to see if they have learned and can apply what you have taught. And then throughout the year, that continues. You teach, you give your students a few problems to practice, hope they're getting it. Give them assessment, maybe weekly or unit assessment. Don't have time, you're still going through the curriculum, so you're going to maintain that. Teach, they practice, give them a test. That same routine is going throughout the year. Again, you're hoping that they're going to be able to apply that at the end of the year, like when at end of course, and maybe that STAAR test is coming. So you're crossing those fingers. But in reality, at the same time, while you're still teaching and moving ahead, that content that you taught in prior weeks or prior months of the school year is gradually fading from your students. They're not retaining it. By the time we do make it to that end of course, the end of year, a majority of what you taught and what you thought they've learned is already gone. So we combat that learning loss with Get More Math. We don't want you or your teachers having to cram anything back. We want them to retain throughout the school year. So with Get More Math, we actually have redesigned that typical classroom cycle to ensure that your students do get necessary review of what you have taught, what they've learned, so they're never forgetting. So with Get More Math, we focus on long-term retention. We make sure that between that lesson cycle, we do have the teacher still teaching. That's very critical and important with Get More Math. Your teachers still teach, they present, students get that explicit instruction. We make sure that students get that independent practice. It's so important for them to try and attempt and have that engaging interaction with the teacher and get that feedback. And then we also bring them into that spiral mix review to make sure they're never forgetting anything they previously learned. So with Get More Math, we want to make sure in the lesson portion that your teachers maintain that control. And when we say that, we want to make sure that students are not exposed or don't get any lessons or assignments that they have not learned yet, which is very common maybe with some other products. So with Get More Math, the teacher is in control. The teacher makes sure that whatever students are practicing, it has been taught. Students have learned it. They have been exposed to it. Skills are going to be incrementally added as the year progresses. Again, that is all up to the teacher as well. When skills are added and which skills are added. And as a teacher, teachers have access to over 3,000 skills in our vast skills bank, and we're always adding more just to keep up with the standards. And with all that being said, it is completely aligned to the classroom teaching. Again, we're TEKS aligned just for here in Texas as well. So in Texas, what's unique and what's very helpful is that we actually have a work tab for every teacher that has an account with Get More Math, but we also have some unique collections. One of those at the top that can be found in a teacher account is our topics. Topics essentially allows a teacher to search for, find, or select any skill or topic by name. It also will allow them to access and see some skills from other states or other state standards as well. Now, what's unique for Texas is that we actually have specific collections just for our state to meet the needs of TEKS and STAAR. So in Texas, we have all of our TEKS available in our standards folder. We have a fill the gaps folder, which is ideal for interventions as well. And it has that vertical alignment built in there. We also have a diagnostics folder, which allows for your teachers to certainly build some pre-test, pre-assessments and gather some baseline data. We also have our STAAR practice folder, built distinctively just for Texas to the rigor, to the readiness and supporting standards of Texas. And we have our STAAR redesign. So speaking of STAAR redesign, I want to share a little bit about what that is. STAAR redesign actually is our new STAAR problem types that well aligns to what STAAR 2.0 is for this year. And in that, we have various problem types that include multi-select, equation editor, fraction models, drag and drop. A lot of those problem types that are probably very hard and very rare to find for your students to practice. But what we're so proud of is that our team has worked so hard to develop and make sure that right now before STAAR, students have access and prepare them for that test coming up in the next 2 weeks. In addition to our Texas collection, we also have a unit guide. So if your campus or district may not have maybe a strong or well-built curriculum, that unit guide is a great supplemental or maybe replacement scope and sequence. And if your campus happens to use NWEA MAP, we have a MAP growth collection that provides some ideal skills and recommendations for your students based on their MAP data. We have some different various skills for on level, above level, and students that fall below level according to their MAP data. Now in Get More Math, your teachers are able to create and assign assignments, which we kind of consider kind of like exit tickets, if you will, that can be taken for a grade. We also have some exams that can be created at the choice of the teacher. And we also allow for the teacher to organize any assignments or exams. They can organize in a digital file cabinet folder as well. So all things to make sure that things are convenient, there, and ready. In Get More Math, we also make sure that your teachers have easy access to all the grade levels. So although your teachers may be an Algebra 1 math teacher, for example, your teachers have access from third grade all the way up, including other courses, just for differentiation needs as well. And in Get More Math, as your teachers are creating an assignment, they can uniquely name and identify or label that assignment as well. When they give an assignment a name, it's right there. All they have to do next is go into our vast skills bank, find the particular grade level and TEKS that relate to that grade level. And any targeted TEKS, all the TEKS are there, but any targeted TEKS, the teacher can actually access, identify, select, and they can also preview some sample problems that align with that particular TEKS. At any point while the teacher is preparing to make an assignment, teachers have the availability to also preview through additional problems as well, just to make sure maybe it's well aligned or maybe exactly suits the needs for the students. When a teacher does select and add a skill, that assignment is actually going to be built and added into an assignment on the left side of the teacher screen. This is as a teacher logged into their account. The teacher can add a few more skills. We do recommend, though, keeping our assignments at 3 or fewer skills. And that is recommended just to make sure that students have enough time to meet the goal that you're setting for them, and also make sure we don't want to overwhelm them within the class time or time that they may have available to complete the assignment. And within Get More Math, teachers can simply select those skills, save that assignment, which will be there unless they choose to delete it later, and they can assign it to any class or small group that they choose. And in Get More Math, your teachers can uniquely name their classes or form those small groups as well, which allows them later to assign any assignment or any exam. Now, once a teacher has done that explicit instruction in that lesson portion, students are having the opportunity to complete a Get More Math design assignment as we just built there, which allows them to focus on the day's practice, the day's TEKS, again, maintaining control for the teacher. I do want to share with you what it looks like from a student perspective, though. So with Get More Math, what you're seeing from a student view is that this particular student logged in is an algebra student, and the teacher has assigned 3 lessons, and that is basically available to see by those 3 red squares you're seeing. Each of those red squares is a skill square, and it represents one of those 3 skills, as we just pulled into that assignment, that was selected and assigned. Now, if you notice that the skill squares also have some dollar symbols on that. I'm going to share exactly what that means in just a moment. But when a student actually selects an answer, Get More Math allows them to check that answer right there on their screen. And if they are correct, they get instant feedback with some cute smiley face emojis that we add in there just for students to feel confident and feel rewarded in what they just did. Now, what happens though if a student happens to get a problem wrong? So if this happens, and it will happen, Get More Math actually allows for the student to enter an answer. If it is incorrect, they're going to see a magenta dot there. That lets students know that their initial answer was incorrect. But what is critical with Get More Math is that we allow students the opportunity to correct their answer. We want to push them for that accuracy. So they again have a chance to enter a different answer. And if it is correct, they also are going to get that feedback immediately. They have multiple times to make corrections on any incorrect answer. And when we say, hey, well, what if a student is struggling? Well, Get More Math is ideal in that, again, it is teacher controlled. So with that being said, students have the ability to flag and signal a teacher for help. There is a little hand imprint up there at the top of the screen. If a student clicks that hand symbol, it will alert the teacher in a real-time live dashboard that the student is requesting help or maybe needs assistance or has a question. If the teacher is not available, the teacher can certainly set from their teacher account. They can set to replace a student's problem. And ideally, too, we want students collaborating. So at any point, students can certainly partner with one another, use their notes, any resources within the classroom also, if on any item they may be stuck on. But again, we're all about that productive struggle at the same time while supporting the students. Now, when a student does finally enter a correct answer, again, that feedback is there to let them know that that final answer was correct. And at the same time, the student has also earned points. So at the top of that screen in that green banner, the student has earned a point. And this is where I'd like to share with you exactly what that means about that dollar symbol. So when assigned, each of those three red squares had dollar symbols. In Get More Math, we want to make sure that we are adaptive to meet students' needs. So the dollar symbol actually lets students know that they just completed a prioritized high needs problem. That is something that our algorithm is uniquely designed to target. So as students are working, our algorithm is measuring the proficiency and the needs of students. So in any session when students are logged in, Get More Math is going to put a dollar symbol on what is most critical and most needed to help that student in the session. Now, before I move on to show you the other features within a lesson, I do want to share with you too that in assignment, students are going to see some different colored squares. So the assignment we built initially launched with red squares. So with that, the red squares actually indicates that that student or that assignment started with no evidence of understanding. As students work through those problems and starts earning some of those points and some of those dollar squares, we're going to see that that red color actually changes to yellow. And yellow indicates there is an initial understanding that is happening. Again, all of this is happening during this focused TEKS assignment. That's an ideal tool to check for understanding. Now, once students complete that assignment, teachers have instant data. Students have a good gauge too of how well they did looking at their squares. But Get More Math is going to automatically now bring students into that critical spiral mix review. We're going to bring back to them the skills and the TEKS they've already learned, but they still need to review to make sure they're not forgetting it. Now, again, this is automatic. The teacher does have control to push the class into mixed review. Otherwise, when a student finishes one of those exit ticket assignments, the program will also automatically make sure they get into mixed review as well. Now in mixed review, we want to make sure that students, again, have the ability to go over and review critical skills they've already learned. There's additional color squares in mixed review for students to accomplish. In addition to the red and yellow squares that students already would experience and probably have accomplished in their independent assignments, in mixed review, students can also advance to green. They can get there probably within a matter of 3 days or so, or about a week's time. That is enough time for them to practice and review a skill they've already been introduced to, they've had some practice with, but they're still maintaining that level of understanding. Within several weeks and even more months, students can ideally advance to our Silver Star and our Gold Star levels. When they can make it to those green or star levels, that is true confidence and great data to be assured that students are going to do well on any assessments, including the STAR test and regarding those particular skills. All right, and I want to show you too, since we're speaking of spiral mix review, what it looks like from a student viewpoint. So this is a student's perspective, again, an Algebra 1 student. And by definition, that spiral review is a repeated opportunity to practice what has already been taught and learned. So this is why Get More Math is unique in that we don't just send students on to the next assignment or next task. We want to make sure that they themselves and the teacher can monitor during that review, making sure that whatever they're learning is sticking and also seeing what that progress is looking like too. Now, remember that a lesson that a student has actually encountered, the one that we actually just built not too long ago, we put in 3 skills. Now, those same 3 skills are now embedded into that spiral mix review. So anytime, this saves teachers time because anytime a teacher creates an exit ticket or that practice assignment that goes with the lesson, those skills assigned automatically collect and accumulate into spiral mix review. So teachers don't have to separately make an assignment, separately build the spiral mix review. That spiral mix review is being built for them. And it tracks that proficiency while giving students everything they need on everything they've learned as well. Now, let's think about the three skills, the first skills that were ever taught maybe at the beginning of the school year. Uh, Likely students cannot remember well or master back then. So with Get More Math, it cycles through anything that has been assigned and taught at any period of the school year. So students will continue to cycle through every day exactly what's been taught, but at the same time, remember we're about teacher control. Teachers have the ability to access and go in and modify the spiral mixture view. They can modify for the entire class, remove, or maybe turn back on specific skills, and even for an individual student. We have a great feature called our student modified review. If students have particular accommodations or needs, teachers can go in and actually customize for any single particular student. Now with Get More Math, again, we're all about making sure they can target any skills whenever they're taught. So starting when they were cycling back, students are going to see some of those skills still at red. Remember, those are the ones that students still need some more work on. We're going to build them up through that, but it lets students know those are probably more critical for them to get those colors advanced. They have their yellow again, where they're seeing that they have some emergent learning and building the skills and concepts, so that progress is already happening. And then ideally, once they've gained some proficiency on their skills, they're going to see all those green skills there. And again, they're going to get to those silver star and those gold star skills as well, where they have already met and excelled the mastery for any of those skills. And all of this data, as I mentioned just a moment ago, is also live for teachers. We have a great teacher interface, a live dashboard for teacher to monitor as well, and great reports you're going to see in just a moment. All right, so again, reminder, any symbols that squares that have those dollar signs are those high prioritized problems. We're going to make sure that for that particular session, when the student is logged in, they're able to actually have specific focus on what is needed for that student. And our algorithm is doing a great job of tracking that and assigning those. All right, so with Get More Math, you're probably wondering, well, what else can you offer? Well, we have some great data reports. This is one of my favorite features using Get More Math as a teacher. Again, we're TEKS aligned. So for any TEKS that has been taught and assigned, Get More Math has what we call proficiency reports. So as a teacher, teachers can go in, select any skill, any TEKS that they have assigned, students have worked on, and they're going to get some great proficiency. Basically, you're going to see a report for that skill where each student falls with their skill square color. So this is ideal for interventions in small groups. So when I'm ready to reteach subtracting those positive integer problems, I can see right there immediately some great objective data to show me, hey, I have some students who are at yellow, they're at that emergent. I'm going to pull those students with me first priority in a small group. At the same time, I can see other students who are proficient. They can keep working independently because that data shows right there for that skill, they're doing well with that. And something else that I love with Get More Math, you're thinking about, well, yeah, we're going to pull some small groups based on those great data reports. But Get More Math provides some great resources. In addition to giving students maybe another digital online practice assignment, we are unique also in that your teachers can also create and print some printable worksheets, which would be ideal maybe for small group reteaching as well. And teachers can do that for any skills, anything that has been assigned on that side. So there are options there for digital or paper customizable worksheets. Now with Get More Math, another great feature is that when a teacher is teaching in that explicit I do lesson, maybe at the beginning or in a small group, your teachers have the ability to access problems and display full screen mode in Get More Math. Two great features that are ideal. So if a teacher wants to display anything to their smart board or an interactive board, Get More Math has our skills bank available to do that. All right, Liz, I'm going to pause and break before we go to our next task, which is looking at TA data. Do we have anyone with questions right now? According in the chat box.
There have been no questions in the chat so far.
All right, good deal. So let's look at what our next task is on the agenda. We're going to go into looking at and learning a little bit more about what TA is sharing and planning for this current testing season. So according to TA, Get More Math and we're aligning to what this is. So TA is already scheduled for grades 3 through 8 STAAR assessments to occur during a 2-week range. That is from May 9th through the 19th of this school year. And the next end of course Algebra 1 assessment, round 1 is going to be scheduled to assess the date ranges of May 2nd through the 12th. And the second round retesting is scheduled from June 20th through 30th. So if you're not aware, districts do have the ability to select specific dates within those ranges. Now, specifically regarding when the reports and data will be available for end of course high school level, TA is planning to release to the districts and ultimately the campuses as well an early scale scored and performance level report will be available on May 31st. Families should have that data available in the state portal by June 30th. And that is for end of course algebra. Regarding grades 3 through 8, the reporting timeline according to TA is set to August 11th, where districts can access those skill scores and I'm sure ultimately share with campuses as well. And those results will be made available for grades 3 through 8 families the week of August 16th in the family portal as well. Now, when we say that the data is going to be released in Texas, it is typical and expected that TA will certainly have each campus's report card available also within those timelines as well. So a typical campus report card is going to take that data and assess an A through F overall rating for the campus. And at any point, if you ever want to, if you're just interested in pulling your campuses or any particular campus or districts report, you certainly can do that on the TA website, and feel free to scan that QR code as well, which will certainly take you to the website if you'd like to bookmark that. Now, on a typical campus report that will be available within those timelines, TA will also have the performance reports available by district and by campus. And what we really want to draw your attention to is that those reports will have your campuses, or if it's a district report, the district's overall performance for all content areas, even with some subpopulation data embedded in as well. Now, I really want to get more specific and share with you exactly where Get More Math can fit into this on the reporting side. So typically, once those results are available for districts and campuses, districts typically import that data into their own district warehouse. So whatever warehouse is available, campuses and districts typically have reports or spreadsheets available that has a TEKS analysis. And with that TEKS analysis, campuses are able to actually see and view for any grade level by TEKS exactly the accuracy rate of that particular TEKS. So when students, when teachers and campus teams are wanting to say, hey, what skills do we need to target? What were our weaknesses? What were our deficits? Things we need to focus on for next year in that data dig. Those reports are ideal in maybe heat mapping, targeting, and tracking those campus TEKS needs. So if your campus has the opportunity to do that, maybe planning ahead for the school year coming, once results are in, that's going to be ideal and helpful, because in Get More Math, your teachers are going to be able to take those data needs, look at the data according to each TEKS, and they could go ahead and plan ahead and Get More Math, prepare some assignments, target specific lessons. Because in Get More Math, your teachers at any time can go in and prioritize, create, and adjust a lesson based on that data, craft any assignment. So when anything is created in Get More Math, it's not assigned unless or until a teacher distinctly hits assign. So teachers can have all of these lessons built and planned and assignments ready to go at any time to use throughout the school year. So plan it ahead, if you will. And again, as I just mentioned, if they plan ahead, those items and assignments can also be left available in the teacher's account in that digital file folder. And another awesome feature is that campuses that do that collaborative planning or PLC, we have a share with teacher or share with colleagues feature. So if we're planning in a PLC, I can be creating some practice assignments or exams. All of my colleagues can go in and copy any assignments from me. So it saves so much time and some great collaboration there. And more so, again, with Get More Math and how we actually function with our product, any skills or TEKS assigned, automatically are embedded in that review. So we're going to ensure that students see it and know it, and your campus is targeting specifically what is most needed. All right, Liz, I'm going to check in with you. Any questions so far?
No questions in the chat so far, and don't be afraid to ask us anything that you might want to know about.
All right, thank you so much. All right, so our data report features with Get More Math, we're excited to share that our team is working so hard on developing some specific Texas TEKS reports. They're coming soon. I'm going to share that timeline with you in just a moment. But what we do have well in the works are some individual student reports. We have some class reports, and we have some district-wide and campus reports as well. Now, in regarding our timeline, ideally, our goal is to have these TEKS reports available for students and classes by fall of 2023. Our development team is doing a great job working hard. We're already doing some focus group testing with particular districts here in the state already, just to make sure that we have an ideal report type and product to put out there. Now, by spring of 2024, we're hoping to get our district-wide reports available and campus-wide reports available by then as well. Now, I want to share with you exactly features of our individual student reports. So with our individual reports, it is going to be accessible by campus teachers. Teachers will be able to see and select and focus on individual students, which is great for tracking them and also great for meeting their needs. And with that, teachers will be able to identify every single student's math TEKS proficiency on any TEKS, what the performance is looking like. And of course, we know teachers will have parent conferences and some IEP meetings to prepare for. Our TEKS reports are excellent tools and resources to share. So I want to share with you exactly what that looks like from a teacher's view. So our new reports, looking at an individual student, teachers can certainly select any student to preview and look at as far as that data. Firstly, when they select a student, they're going to see a great dashboard here of what all the standards look like, just a quick synopsis of what that looks like, which skills have no data, how many skills have proficient, partially proficient, or proficient data as well. We also have for each of the reporting categories with STAAR or ELC, our individual student reports will have a great tracking bar graph there to show the growth and the rate of those. And those bar graphs will show the supporting and readiness labels with that as well, so teachers can keep track from skill to skill. Now, in that individual student report, again, teachers can click on any TEKS, and they're going to actually see and monitor and track there exactly what skills students have been assigned, what they have started working on, and the proficiency results from that as well, and the accuracy results with that. So for any TEKS, there's an instant gauge there, which whether that TEKS for that student is that proficient, developing, no data, or anything less than that as well. All right, so here's another viewpoint from individual student report, a different category there for a TEKS. And again, for any student, the teacher has a great list of what has been assigned and started and what has not. Now for the class reports are going to be accessible by campus teachers as well and math coaches. With these type of reports for the class, teachers and coaches will be able to select and analyze specific skills. They can identify entire collective performance for a group or for a class, and view and monitor each class's proficiency for every single TEKS. And what's ideal too for here, when you look at the class-wide report, those small groups are going to be available and seen. So in that class report, again, we have the function to switch from a student report to a class report. Select any class that is active and has been working in their Get More Math assignments or exams, and select and be able to preview from any of the class list there. And when in the class reports feature, again, for the entire class, a teacher or a coach can certainly click on any TEKS and get an instant small group of which students are currently at the not proficient level, partially proficient, or the proficient level. Again, that is another tool, just as you saw in the other current report types we have, ideal for those small groups and that intervention or reteaching. Now at the campus and district report level, again, this is going to be our final type of report we look forward and hope to release by 2024. This is going to be accessible by campus and district administrators. And with this report type, those with access will be able to select and focus on individual students and classes for any particular campus. And with this information to identify each student's campus or class's performance is going to be all available in this one report. And this is ideal for some campus improvement planning. So we know that year to year, each campus does have an improvement plan to create or adjust, if you will. This is an ideal report to assist with that. Now in the campus and district report, again, a user has the ability to click on and select any campus available within the organization. And once a campus is selected, there is the option to select a class from the campus list, or teacher class, if you will, an actual class, and then any particular student. So again, all of those different subgroups and sub data is available right there in the campus district report. So just a friendly reminder for our new TEKS reports that are currently under construction, we're hoping to release the student and the class reports fall of 2023, and we're looking forward to the campus and district reports becoming available 2024, if not before then. All right, Liz, I'm going to stop again and see if we have any questions to address. If not, we're going to go ahead and check out our pilot partnership criteria.
Nope, you're clear to go. Everybody seems to not have any questions today.
Perfect. Thank you for that. All right. And for our free pilot, again, your campus is eligible if your campus is currently not have a pilot with us or currently does not purchase Get More Math with a license. So this free pilot is for an entire school year license with unlimited teacher and unlimited student access. And with this, it does include 3 complimentary hours of professional development that our fantastic support team will be able to facilitate. Now, the first step in a free pilot is getting approval from an administrator. So whether that's you as a campus or district administrator, or if you'd like to share any information with any other campus administrators you may know, if you're a teacher, once we get connected with an administrator to give us an approval for the entire campus, that is check number 1. Check number 2 is scheduling those 3 free complimentary PD hours. So we have a calendar available, and we're also able and willing to schedule any of those 3 trainings with according to your campus's needs and schedules. And the trainings are 3 sessions, each one at an hour. Again, we want to certainly let you know that we are certainly able to adjust and work with any schedule needs or anything of that sort. So if you have any particular times and dates you're interested in, just reach out to us and we'll certainly make that work. Now, once we do get an administrator's approval and we do have a training scheduled or set up, your campus's Get More Math license until July 2024 is ready to go and it is launched. So again, just to let you know who you can expect to hear from if you're interested. Elizabeth Hilly, my counterpart here on the call, manning the chat there. She is account manager for regions 9 through 17 and 20. On the screen here is her contact information with email and phone number. And I, Lakeisha, am account manager for regions 1 through 8 and 18 and 19. As well, my contact information is available. Feel free to reach out to either one of us directly. And there is a QR code to the bottom right of your screen. Feel free to scan that and you just fill out a quick, maybe 30-second form there. If you do that, either one of us will get back to you with any information and details about that free pilot partnership for your campus. And if there are, again, no questions, I'm going to go ahead and ask Liz one final time. Do we have any final questions?
We just got one actually. What are the different ways students will log on to get More Math?
Yeah, thank you for asking that. So currently as a pilot, remember it's a free license. So currently as a free school using us, we do have the ability for students to log in via the web. We have a student login page, same for teachers, same for administrators. So students can log in via web on any device. That can be, a Chromebook, a laptop, iPad, whatever it may be, cell phone. Alternatively, if your campus happens to be a Google Classroom Suites campus, we do offer that capability. There are a few limitations with Google Classroom. That would be basically like a single sign-on option. There are some limitations that we certainly want to share with you, but if that's something that your campus is certainly wanting to learn more about, we can certainly share that as well. So those are the two options for logging in for a free pilot. If your campus converts to a paid partnership with us, we do offer Clever rostering, which is a single sign-on. So through Clever, that's something that your campus or district has purchased. Your students can certainly just won't have any password or username to add in. Clever will do that for them immediately. Thank you for that question. Any more questions, Liz? All right.
There are none at this time.
Okay. If there are no questions, again, feel free to reach out to Liz and or me with any questions at any time. But we do thank you for attending today's webinar. We thank you for your interest as well. And again,
Oh,
yes.
so sorry. We did
Mhm.
just get another quick question. Did you mention the cost?
Yes, our current cost, and we do have this available on our website, which is www.getmoremath.com. We have a pricing website. Our current cost, this is just a base price by student. Average cost right now is $18 per student. Again, if your campus partners with us, that cost won't be anything to discuss until we prepare for the 24-25 school year. But our current cost by student is $18 per student. And we do provide several discount options. So based on the number of students at your campus, we do a lot discounts by a percentage rate. And also, if your campus chooses to buy what's called a site license, we do give an automatic discount with that as well. But again, Elizabeth or myself, either one of us as your account managers can certainly give you specific pricing or quotes available. All right. And we're going to hang around for maybe a minute or so with any other questions. Feel free to chat or feel free to unmute your mic if you'd like to. Other than that, we want to thank you guys for attending and thank you for your time and wishing you guys all the best with upcoming testing and end of year festivities.